Hey, this video was made just for you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Our next topic is system of resistors and effective resistance. A resistor is a two-ended component having a given amount of resistance between its two ends. In several electrical devices, a number of resistors are connected together in different ways. Ohm's law is applicable to all such connected resistors. So, we have learned that while drawing a resistor, no matter how it is drawn, there will be the same resistance across its two ends. But when we add different resistors, we can add it in different ways so that the effective resistance, that is the total resistance, can be changed. And we can apply Ohm's law in all of them. That is, after we find the effective resistance, we can use V is equal to IR to find either the potential difference, or I is equal to V upon R to find the current passing through the circuit. The first type that we will learn is resistors in series. If you remember earlier that the ammeter was always connected in series to the resistor. And if you remember, it meant that to be connected in series, it had to be placed next to it where one end had a common end. So this figure is telling us that the resistors are connected in series. So here we can see that there is R1, which is the first resistance, then there is R2 and then there is R3, and they are lined up back to back. So this tells us that this is how resistors can be connected in series. You can see that the ends of the three resistors are connected so that they follow one another in a single line. These resistors are said to be in series. In such an arrangement, the same current flows through each resistor. So, when we connect any resistances that are in series, the current passing through it, that is I, would be same. That is, the same amount of current would be passing through R1 and R2 and R3. The value of current I and the potential difference between C and D is V. So, C and D is the common resistance between all of this, and between these 2 points, the potential difference, that is V. The three resistors R1, R2 and R3 are connected in series in the circuit. So, now we have to find out what will be the effective resistance, that is the total resistance R in this whole circuit. We have to take the voltages across each of them to be V1, V2 and V3. Just because the current is same in all of them does not mean that the voltage is also same. So depending on the values of the resistance, the voltage can be different across these resistors that are present in series. So let us take each of them as V1, V2, V3, where V1 is the voltage that is present across the ends of R1, V2 is the voltage between the resistor R2, and V3 is the potential difference or the voltage at R3. So we know that V would be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. If Rs, that is the S is for the series, so the total R, we are taking it as Rs is the effective resistance between C and D, then according to Ohm's law, we would get V is equal to I into Rs. So V1 would be equal to V into I into R1. V2 would be equal to I into R2 and V3 would be equal to I into R3. And we have to substitute all these three in this first equation because we have found V1, V2, V3. So now we have to substitute these values in this formula and we will get IRS is equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. And then we can take I as common and RS because here there is only one. And then here we can take all these I as a common integer and put R1 plus R2 plus R3. And then because I is present on either side, it will get cancelled. And we will get this equation as the final answer. So therefore we have found out that the total resistance in series is R1 plus R2 plus R3. And this can go on. So here in this example, we only took 3 resistors. But what if we took 4 or 5 or 6? So therefore, it tells us that Rs is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 in plus n number. That is, it can be any number. So what is our conclusion from this? We can find out that if the resistors are connected in series, then the same current will flow through each of the resistors. So this is one point which is very important. The second is the effective resistance, that is the total resistance. We had used it as Rs of the resistors is equal to the sum of their individual resistances. Here Rs was equal to the sum of each of the individual resistances. So that is another important point that we have derived. The third one is that the potential difference between the two extremes of the arrangement is equal to the sum of the potential differences across individual resistors, where we had taken V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, etc. Then the fourth point is the effective resistance is larger than each of the individual resistances. This is also very important, and we will find out later why it is important. Here we are adding each of them. So no matter what the each of the resistance is, it will always be added. Therefore, the effective resistance will always be a number greater than each of the individual resistance. And the last point is that this arrangement is used to increase the resistance in a circuit. Because the effective resistance is always larger, if we add any resistances in series, the total resistance will always be more. Therefore, if we want to increase resistance or decrease the current flowing through it, because more amount of resistance, that means less amount of current will flow through it. So if we want less current to flow, we have to add resistances in series. Do you know, when resistors are connected in series, they are connected one after another. If any of them does not function, the circuit breaks and there is no flow of electricity. So therefore it will act as a key. If one of the resistance stop working, then it will be like a break in the circuit, and therefore there will be no flow of electricity through the entire circuit. So if two bulbs are connected in series, they will both give less light than if they had been connected individually. Because now once we are connected in series, that means we are increasing the resistance. And when we increase the resistance, that means less current will pass through it. And if less current passes through it, then there will be less light. So if you want less light in the bulb, then you have to connect different bulbs in series. If 3 bulbs are connected in series, their light output will decrease further. So if you connected 3 bulbs in different circuits, you would have a brighter light as compared to if you connected all 3 in the same circuit and in series. So we know they're asking us what is the reason behind this, and we know that when you connect it in series, the total resistance becomes more, and therefore there will be less current passing through it, and therefore there will be less light that is formed. Now let us see some solved examples for the resistors in series. Example 1. 3 resistors having resistance of 15 ohm, 3 ohm and 4 ohm are connected in series. What is the effective resistance in the circuit? So we know that the effective resistance is the sum of the individual resistances. So R1 we have given is 15 ohm, R2 is 3 ohm and R3 is 4 ohm. So the effective resistance Rs would be the sum of the individual resistances. So R1 plus R2 plus R3, which is equal to 15 plus 3 plus 4, which is 22 ohm. So the effective resistance in the circuit is 22 ohm. Example 2. Two resistors having resistances of 16 ohm and 14 ohm are connected in series. If a potential difference of 18 volt is applied across them, calculate the current flowing through the circuit and the potential difference across each individual resistor. So this is a more complicated question than the previous one. Here they have given us two individual resistors. So, and they are telling us that they are connected in series. So we have to first find the effective resistance. Then they are telling us to find out the current flowing through it, and they have given us the potential difference, that is V of 18 volt. So then they are asking us to find I across the RS. And then after that, they are also telling us to find out the potential difference that is present across each of them. That is, they're telling us to find V1 and V2. So first, let us go through this example one by one. So first, let us find out RS. So R1 is 16 ohm, R2 is 14 ohm. So RS is the sum of the individual resistances, that will be 14 plus 16, which is 30 ohm. Then they're telling us let the current flowing through the circuit be I and potential difference across 16 volt and 14 volt be V1 and V2 respectively. So we know from Ohm's law V is equal to IR. So V is equal to V1 plus V2, which is they have given us already that it is 18. So now we have the effective resistance, which is 30, and we have V, which is 18. So we can easily find I by doing I is equal to V upon R, and therefore we get I is 0.6 ampere. Now we have to find the individual potential differences. That is, we have to find V1 and V2. So V1 will be equal to I into R1, and we know by the previous derivation that the current flowing through all the resistances in series is the same. So I will always remain the same. So I we know as 0.6 and R1 was 16. So we found the potential difference that is only across R1 as 9.6 volt. And similarly, we can also find V2 by doing V2 is equal to I into R2 by doing 0.6 into now 14, and when you multiply it we get the potential difference across R2 being 8.4 volt. Therefore, the current flowing in the circuit is 0.6 ampere that we found out, and the potential difference across the resistances 16 and 14 ohm are 9.6 volt and 8.4 volt respectively. Do you know the resistance of some conductors becomes nearly zero if their temperature is decreased up to a certain value close to 0 Kelvin? So there are certain conductors which are made up of a certain material that if you decrease the temperature very low, that is very close to 0 Kelvin, and this is very low value, this is around minus 273 degrees Celsius, then the resistance becomes nearly zero. And if resistance is zero, means the current can flow freely because there is no resistance to it. So therefore, such conductors are called superconductors. Some conductors do not obey Ohm's law. So whatever rules we had learned from Ohm's law are not obeyed by some conductors. And such conductors are called non-ohmic conductors.
For the answers to this exercise and other free worksheets, please go to jkacademypro.com.